AYUC.TV.
Good morning, sports fans, and welcome to Day 3 of the Australian Youth Ultimate Championships, coming to you live on the Ultimate Australia YouTube channel. Simon Talbot here with Max Senstrom.
Thanks for having us.
And today we have the bronze medal matchup for the boys division. We have ACT versus Western Australia. These teams met earlier in pool play this weekend. ACT getting up in that one, 13-11.
It was a good match. ACT came out of the gates very quickly. WA a little flat on day one in the afternoon, perhaps tired legs getting the best of them early in the tournament. And ACT took half 8-3, I believe, before WA stormed back and made it a real tight one in the end.
And so WA coaches there giving their boys a few last minute words of encouragement. And same with the ACT coaches.
Just chatting to the Bennett Carpenter, the WA head coach, before this match, reflecting back on that pool play matchup between these two, and he said it's really just a case of coming out of the gate strong, not letting ACT build themselves that kind of a lead, and not making it WA have to climb their way out of that hole that they dug themselves. So look to them to start hard. Plenty of fire from the initial pool, set the tone of this match.
Ethan Foggin raising his hand, ready to send the first ball down.
Foggin was all fireworks yesterday with a couple of great highlight plays. If you managed to catch our highlights package last night, featured Ethan going chest high, fully horizontal for a great grab in the end zone. We'll see whether he can replay those heroics as this game kicks off.
Ball goes low and flat, centre field. Will start about 60 from goal. Jagurtha. WA employing four-person zone. ACT stacks very deep. Waters goes wide to Wigney. And the first shot goes up, looking for the two tall boys. And Jacobs takes the first grab and throws it in short to Alex Sangar for the first goal to ACT.
Yeah, expect to see Jacobs on the end of a lot of deep shots. He's been the #1 deep threat all weekend long, bringing his experience playing Division 2 Nationals with Fishwick United from Canberra. Fishwick Unit, apologies. And he's deadly in the air. And not too bad with the disc in the hand as well.
He sat very, very, very deep. You probably couldn't see it on camera, but as soon as the play started, he was sat probably about 5 metres in front of the end zone, so about 40 metres deep of the disc, and was just daring to put the shot up, and yeah, created a 2-on-1 there. That was Davies there, obviously unable to compete with both of them. Left stranded.
The deep shot there coming from Connor Waters. He's the younger brother of Ryan Waters, an ex-Thunder Australian under-20s rep, who is known for his big forehand hucks. Clearly runs in the blood as he unleashes one there and puts it right into the hands of his deep receiver, Isaac Jacobs.
Unlike day 1 and day 2, there's no wind to speak of this morning. We've had some strong breezes, definitely affecting the way teams play and their throws, but this morning conditions very still.
And yet they still played Pommy. It's an interesting choice to lead with a zone in no wind.
Yep. Honey with the pull. Very high, but start about 40 metres from goal. First shot goes up early, and that's what a great throw. That was Paschke just ripping out that backhand. Just first throw, first goal, the most efficient offense you can get.
No messing around from the WA boys. We were chatting off mic before this game, Simon, talking about WA's tendencies, and I said, yeah, they like to send it long early, and you can see they're doing exactly that. Cody Crooks, the captain, happy to take that stat as he records himself a goal.
Very nice low flat backhand as well. Just no chance at all for Middleton to chase that one down or create a contest out of it.
ACT opting for single coverage match defence. Not able to really slow down WA at all that point, but obviously in these stiller conditions we'd expect to see more clean offence than we've seen so far this weekend, where turns have been plentiful.
Interesting to see if WA come out with a zone again at this point, given how ineffective it was the first point.
They were opting with a 4-man cup, a mark and 3 in the wall, placing heaps of pressure on the thrower, but obviously allowing plenty of space downfield. So as soon as that disc moved, as it did last time, the new individual with the disc had plenty of space and time to throw a nice long shot. We'll see whether they can repeat that at this point.
Good deep pull there from Davies. Early chase down there from Ethan Foggin. But ACT moved very quickly. Big, nice backhand throw, searching for Fraser Wigney. Back to Sangar. Sends the backhand out looking for Honey, and Honey takes it out in front. Yeah, WA did opt for the match coverage then.
And didn't slow down ACT either. They find a sweet-as goal to Honey on this near side. Honey, one of 3 players on this ACT team who come from New South Wales, in fact. Trialled for that New South Wales team, didn't make the cut there, but then came down to play with the ACT Gangs, as they're called. You can see he's a handy player to have. He's quick. He's got a safe pair of hands on him. Exactly what you want when you've got a player running to the end zone.
I think it may have been wrong force applied there by the defence. They seem to have... 2 separate defenders seem to have been given up 2 separate options, so maybe that's why they had the easy shot downfield.
In these kind of conditions, you just can't afford to not be on the same page defensively. Throwers simply too good. They'll take advantage of anything they're given if it's that easy.
An efficient offense, been 0 turnovers so far in this game. So defences will not be able to just sit back and wait for these errors. They're going to have to, with that intensity, get their hands in and get their blocks on some. So Jacobs with the pull. Davies. They're both charging down the sideline here. This time taking their time a bit more, not sort of going over the top. ACT have employed a fairly loose zone.
Oh, and a hand block. And a great bid from Davies, but he can't keep that alive.
McKinnon it was, getting fingertips on that one. So Sangar with the disc on the sideline, about 30 from goal. Sends the nice backhand up. But doesn't put enough zip on it, and Davies easily able to cut it off early. Davies sends the bomb straight away. And straight into the lap of Armstrong. Armstrong puts it up over the top to Haynes.
Connor Waters may have just got a fingernail on that deep shot, but not enough to stop the Huck completing, finding its mark. And in the end, a nice simple flip for the goal to Eli Haynes.
Yeah, good response from Davies there. Too many times you see teams really be intimidated a little bit by having the disc right on the goal line, 64 metres from goal, but he's just gone, nope, I've got this, boys. Wound up and sent the huge forehand shot. Got about 55 metres on that forehand, straight into the lap of his receiver. And then threw a cheeky little over the top for the goal.
Yeah, Tyson Davies got a real cannon on him, as you see there. Able to really stretch the field. Connor Waters does look like he maybe gets a fingernail, doesn't he?
Not quite enough, though.
Great effort from him. And then, in the end, Eli Haynes had to work for that grab. He does well to hold on. Haynes, the nephew of our National Events Manager here at the Australian Flying Disc Association. getting a head start into the sport from a nice young age where he played social league in Perth with a number of his teammates on this under-18s team, including Tyson Davies, the big handler that we saw launch that huck. As the pull goes back up and sails a little wide, maybe a brick.
So Young there, given the signal to say he'll take the disc at centre field, about 45 metres from goal. Actually, set with their stack very deep here. WA just covers the under, sends the big shot up, looking for Isaac Jacobs. 2-on-1. Gets a hand to it, but can't take it cleanly. Had difficult job there trying to outdo two WA players in the air. Davies with a quick restart. Paschke. Warnock now, back to Paschke. Content just to take their options down the line here, WA.
This could be a break opportunity for WA, the first one of the match.
Very patient. Davies finally puts one up. And goes over the top of Davies, but... Sorry, Jacobs there was the defender, and looks like a bit of an awkward landing there by the WA player trying to drag that down. That's Crooks there, their captain. Honey to restart, 64 from goal. That the swing pass looking for, I think it was Young there, drifts wide. WA with the chance right on the doorstep. Nice, easy backhand there from Paschke, hitting Ethan Foggen at pace for the first defensive conversion.
That is a break, indeed, and they will be crucial in this match in these lovely still conditions. You saw the price that's paid when you give a short field turn like that. That swing pass that went a little wide, really just an execution error, not a lot of pressure on it. And when you give a team the disc 3 metres outside the end zone, 99 times out of 100, that's going to be a goal. Timeout
called by ACT, just to regather. As you see the swing pass again, he didn't have a lot happening upfield, but yeah, I'll see what happened there. That was Young was going to attempt to move towards Honey. Provide that option. Just a quick restart. Foggen keeping his feet inbounds as he took the grab.
This matchup here for the bronze medal is a rematch of the bronze medal game played at last year's Australian Youth Ultimate Championships. In that game, WA came out victorious. And a number of players in both teams played in that match, including the ACT coach, Nick Hodson, who was also the MVP of that tournament. He's now too old to compete, and he's leading this team from the sidelines. Wonder what words he's been giving his team, a bit of advice, bit of wisdom. What would you be saying if you're in his position, Simon?
If I was ACT coach, I'd be pulling their stack a lot closer to the disc. At the moment, all their cutters are offering is they've only got room to offer just a cut straight at the disc, which just makes it easy for WA to cover, as they only need to cover one direction of cuts. I'd be starting a stack closer to the disc, which opens up that space further upfield for cutters to run to space. They've got the throwers who can put it out to space. They've got the receivers. They just need to set themselves up a bit just to throw the defence off slightly.
We saw them also take a huck to Isaac Jacobs early that point into double coverage.
Yep.
And as I mentioned, Jacobs has been huge for them in the air. He's been their #1 deep target. But it felt a little bit like they fixated on him there and ignored the fact that he was in double coverage. No matter how good your deep receiver is, it's just never a percentage play to throw into a 2-on-1 situation.
And it looks like WA had that scouted. They knew he was off the back, and that extra defender was able to peel off as soon as the throw went up. So Jacobs coming off this point for a rest. So we'll see their new target. Maybe Riley Delbo was a bit of a target for them yesterday, or Fraser Wigney perhaps. Sangar with the disc. Through Gurtha. Gregory goes inboard to Sadiq. Sangar unmarked.
It's a very messy stack downfield.
Again, they've still got their players sitting quite deep. Sangar, not many options available to him. Has to put it up. And Gregory there, cleaning up the scraps. And sends it inboard to Sadiq. Not the tidiest of goals, but they'll take it.
They will. Working it predominantly down that far sideline. Not managing to change the angle of attack, which is something I'd like to see.
They're a lot more active in the stack there, rather than just sort of camping deep, waiting for someone to put it up. And their throwers are a bit more patient too. Learning the lesson from the last point. I see Sangar, that was a long stall count. He had, what are we up to, about 6, 7? Yep.
Yeah, it's the time difference between Western Australia and ACT. they're 2 seconds behind over there, I believe.
That was a great inside shot to Sadiq there from Gregory.
Sadiq, another of those New South Wales imports. At 3 apiece. We'll see who manages to stamp their authority on this game first.
Yeah, at the moment, WA had the advantage in starting on defence and getting that goal. And so if this game goes to half-time, which it likely will, they'll start on offence after half-time and likely carry a 1-goal advantage. So the pressure's on ACT. They've got to get this defensive conversion back.
We are playing 80-minute games and points cap of 15. So half will be taking it when one team reaches 8.
Only with the ball starting wide, sends the ball to the middle of the field. Oh, sorry, the centre field. Summers. Can't get the first pass off quickly. That was a great chase down by ACT. Good defensive pressure to Dalva.
ACT opting for a bit of a containment zone look here.
Fogan to Patchke. Patchke really controlling the offense here, controlling the pace of it. It's like a 2-3-2 zone here by ACT. To take away those deep shots. Patchke. Fogan finds space upfield. Great flow here by WA. And another one up the corner. That was Patchke finding, that was Fogan there for the goal. That's the second time those two have connected in that exact same spot too.
Froggan was big for them yesterday and he's continuing to put runs on the board for them here. ACT haven't really been able to contain him or slow him down in any way. At that point they mixed up their defensive look. They played a transition zone looking to force a lot of passes among the handlers early and prevent any early deep shot, which it definitely did. And if that was their goal, then they should consider themselves successful, but unable to generate the turn and turn it into a goal.
Yep.
Patchke connecting with Froggan into a very tight window, but he does a good job to keep his feet in. Great awareness from the young man.
Bit of a rushed old backhand too. That one didn't pivot. Not
a lot
spin
of
on it,
revolutions on the disc.
Did the job though.
Joel Patchke, the spirit captain for Western Australia. He's one of the few returners on this team who already have a bronze medal back home. He's looking to add to that collection in this game.
WA to start on defence now. They'll probably just stick with their match defence, I think. ACT fed on the line ready. Jacobs back on the field. They'll probably have him sit deep again. They'll probably have Honey sit behind the disc and control the tempo of this offense. So they'll be looking to keep the disc in the centre field as much as possible. Spin pull I don't think I've seen one of them since the 2000s. Sadiq catches the ball, gets offense started early. Nice little couple of 1-2s. And plenty of yards. Sells him with the fake there over the top. To Gertha. To Gregory. Gregory spots Jacobs up. Fantastic put. Goes for it.
Great effort from Isaac Jacobs, and not a bad looking throw. Out of
Yeah.
the hand, I thought that might have been perfect, but just a touch too much juice on it.
Yep. And sails out the back of the end zone, so that'll be Haynes of WA to pick it up. I've seen a lot of forehand long shots from Haynes this weekend. So they have recognised that. They're going to give him up the backhand. To Lamman. Back to Haynes. Pops a high one up to Crooks. Crooks right on the sideline here. Tries to go up the line, but that was Young getting his hands in there and knocking that one to the ground. Sadiq puts a laser of a forehand out, looking for I think Middleton there, but didn't travel more than above 8 inches off the ground and ends up on the grass.
Not the throw he wanted at all. Middleton had some separation as well. A good throw would have given them a goal, but not able to deliver.
He's to start in the very back corner of the field. Probably want to move to the centre of the field here rather than try and punch up the line. There he goes, just short to Sidalva.
I think we've got a pick call by Gregory, perhaps. It's worth noting we do have game advisors in this match offering their perspective and some clarification on the rules when necessary, but they'll resolve it themselves this time.
The play restarts. A lot of movement here from WA. Short to Haynes. Not much an offer. Looks inside. Tries to go short to his teammate, but put it at his feet, and ACT get a chance here. Honey looks off the open cutter on the forehand side. Sadiq now. Great forehand shot that was Gregory, I think. Stumbles a bit on the landing, but secures the goal. Much tidier offense there at the end zone there by ACT.
They're definitely starting to clean things up. Room for improvement, though. They did have a wide open swing. I would have loved to see them use nice and early in that stall count. Change the angle attack, get off that sideline, give yourself more options as a thrower. But they were patient and found the open Gregory coming underneath into that front corner of the end zone and hit him nicely in stride. Keeps things locked up at 4 apiece.
It was good tight close range defense there by ACT to force that fumble. It's hard to get a clean throw off to a cutter who's about 3 or 4 metres away from you, just because by the time you set your balance and get the full swing in, that's about half your distance covered already, and too many times players will try and just instead get a quick just flick of the wrist shot out, which isn't always accurate.
No, in those cramped spaces, it can become quite difficult to recycle possession and move the disc. And ACT did a good job of cramping WA. And in the end, we were rewarded with a turnover.
Sanger, ball goes low and flat, but lands out of bounds, and WA opting to take the disc from the sideline. They'll move it up a bit because it went out of bounds a bit
ACT
earlier.
in this match look again.
Yeah. Paschke. Has a forehand look. Goes up the line for Davies. Gains plenty of ground on that one and sends the forehand up. Nice and easy shot by Davies there. And that was one of the Foggin brothers, I think, for the goal. It's
Ethan, I believe.
Ethan Foggin, his 3rd goal this game.
Nigh on unstoppable. Just seems to be wide open in the end zone time and time again. I did like ACT's defense there on the initial pickup. They had a big aggressive back hip force, absolutely stopping the around shot from Davies. And then Connor Waters sitting up line. In the end, Paschke throwing a nice little around forehand to break it open and get things moving, but nice initial defense.
And that had to be a great throw as well. That had to be pinpoint to get it over the top of the initial defender, but not high enough or far enough that other defenders could come in and knock it away. But good aggressive cut by Davies too, just to give him that option.
In the NWA playing their entire offense in a 6-inch wide strip down this near sideline, which from an ACT perspective is good. If they can keep them doing that, you'd expect to see some turns.
Yeah, they're just going to apply just that little bit more heat, a little bit more pressure. Not every throw is going to be as pinpoint as that one. No, should give themselves some more opportunities. Not many defensive blocks yet in this game. Only 3 times has a defender actually managed to get a clean hand on it. But we'll expect that to change as the play goes on. 24 minutes in. 5-4 to WA. Sangar and Young going back and forth to get this to the middle. WA going back to their zone from the first point. Waters getting involved. Big backhand out to gain advantage for Sangar. Tregurtha. Wants to move it forward, but has a discipline to go backwards there. Using the full width of the field this time, ACT. Through the middle to Waters there. Jacobs. Plenty of looks downfield. Just puts a short one in, looking for Waters there, but Haynes gets his hands to that one. WA to have the disc. About 40 from goal. Haynes winds up that forehand, looking for Armstrong. Armstrong gets a grab ahead of Jacobs. And there was that forehand shot we talked about earlier for Eli Haynes, and he rips it out, and wasn't to the advantage of Armstrong. He had to
made him work for it.
Had to change direction and had to go out hard, but managed to reel it in, and great effort by Jacobs there, going full stretch layout to try and knock it out, but which sometimes can be enough to make the receiver fumble it. But Armstrong held his cool there and held onto it, and that's another defensive conversion, second of the game for WA, to give them a 6-4 lead.
See Isaac Jacobs' bid attempt again. He's got absolutely no hesitation in throwing his body around. He's done it offensively and defensively all weekend long.
And he had to go early there. He couldn't run the risk of Armstrong just pulling up and even just going straight back into the disc to take the two-handed catch. He had to go early to put pressure on it, which meant he took off for the wrong foot. So wasn't able to employ his full reach, but great effort nonetheless to get there and make a contest of it.
He's been a revelation for ACT in the last few months.
Definitely one of the future stars of that area, of that region. Davies. That's a fantastic pull. That's going to put ACT right back, 64 from goal. Sadiq, Honey. And already, offense is stagnant. A lot of cuts just coming towards the disc, not much enough for Honey going away. Sadiq winds up the forehand to Jacobs. Great hit, and Jacobs, he has McKinnon all on his own.
That's lovely offense from ACT. Two beautiful mid-range forehands, beautifully controlled, plenty of touch for a textbook goal.
Yeah, I think WA were really worried about, or really had their focus on Jacobs being a deep receiver there. That Jacobs ended up just going for a lateral cut to be nice and wide open, and yeah, the defender had peeled off McKinnon now. Great by McKinnon to recognise that he was free and just took off directly down the middle of the field for an uncontested goal. Second assist for Jacobs. Not bad for a receiver.
No, he's very handy. And when you're an aerial threat as big as he is, you know you're going to be given unders. Players will sag off you as they try to contain that deep threat. And if you can punish them like that, you really become a handful for the opposition because they have to pick their poison. You're either going to catch the goal or throw the goal.
Yep. And great, amazing throw there by Sadiq to set him up as well. At power position, so he threw unmarked and had the old end zone to shoot at, but hit McKinnon on the run. McKinnon didn't have to do barely any work for that, just had to meet it at the end zone for the goal.
Yeah, very easy catch for him. McKinnon, one of the number of players on this ACT team who've learnt their frisbee at Deakin High School in Canberra. It's a bit of a powerhouse high school in that region with ultimate frisbee.
Jacobs with the pull, plenty of height on that. Will land inbounds. Good hang time for their defenders to get down there. Davies, Foggin. And Foggin goes with a forehand short pass back to Davies, but sits it behind him. Davies had to reach back to get it. Honey to restart. Looking everywhere, using his full range of vision. Sangar looking upfield and not much on offer, so just go short to Sadiq. Sadiq again, and that's the second time he's faked over the top. Puts the push pass over the top of the market to Sangar.
Oh my.
Sangar inboard to Tregurtha. And puts that backhand out, but that was well read by the West Australian defender who's going to streak deep. That's Armstrong there. The disc comes wide to Crooks, all on his own. Back inboard to Haynes. Haynes unmarked at the moment. Davies. Plenty of time here. I think there's been a couple of marking violations, which are, and so he had to get the quick throw out.
Looks like a stall called.
Contested stall, I think, is the outcome of that, but
No,
they've
contested.
Yep, Davies has retracted his contest, and so that'll be ACT's disc about 50 metres from goal. So they're taking his time. He has to pick it up. Just out of the reach there of Middleton. So WA with another shot. Third possession at this point. Great break throw by Davies to the middle for Patchke. Patchke sends a big loopy backhand up. Plenty of numbers underneath it. And Honey gets up for the block. Swats that away. He'll pick up to restart. Sadiq, centre field. Amazing layout grab there by Sangar to keep the disc alive. Forehand shot to Tregurtha. He's got options deep. But opts just to take his time. Sangar unmarked it in centre field. Back to Tregurtha. Here we go. There's that angle of attack we were talking about again, Max, earlier. But
that backhand pops up on him a little bit, loses the edge control, and it sails well over his receiver.
Yeah, just too much for Middleton there. I think he just rushed it. But like you said earlier, they were looking to change up the angle of attack at the end zone. So would have caught WA's completely off guard there. Davies sends a big backhand shot up. It's going to drift wide. No. Good effort by Ethan Foggin to reel it in, but would have landed out of bounds. So that will be Sangar's disc. Did that land in bounds? Oh, Sangar's disc. Tregurtha unmarked. Back inboard to Sangar. WA giving up the backhand side. And they're going straight up on Honey just to stop his big shots. Wide forehand up to Jacobs. Jacobs up the line to Sangar. Sangar got enough. He had enough time to have a second go on that, but Armstrong comes in to swat that away.
And we've got a foul call by Sangar. It looks immediately like Armstrong's not contesting it.
Yep. Did his best to avoid contact on that, but ended up clipping Sangar. Yeah, he was already in the air by the time Sangar turned, so couldn't do a lot about it, but still, this is a non-contact sport. Intentional or not, the foul stands. So Sangar to restart, about 20 from goal. Goes up the line, Tregurtha. Sugartha immediately looks to the centre, sends it out to the direction of McKinnon. McKinnon pulls it in for his second goal of the game.
Nicely done by the ACT. Nice hold by McKinnon as that disc rose on him quickly. He had to elevate on short notice and pull that one down, which he does well.
Good discipline there by Tregurtha too. He had one look at that front corner he was attacking at, but then immediately looked to the centre. So as you say, Sangar, he has one look, but then goes, no, who's free for me in the middle? Beautiful leading pass, and McKinnon took that early. Could have afforded to maybe chase that down a bit further, but goes, no, I want the goal now. I don't want to wait for it. And that's the first defensive conversion for the game for ACT. So they bring it back to 6-all.
It is 6 apiece. It is game on. Of course, half at 8. Both teams rapidly closing in on that. And that'll often be a time when teams will look to stack a line or two, hope to get a break going into half, set themselves up in a nice position with momentum behind them for the second half. Yeah,
before we're out there coaching ACT, I'll be putting my best 7 defenders on the line right now. And it looks like they've got a very tall line on here.
Wigney in particular.
Yeah. Wigney, Delbo, Tregurtha, Senga. Some of their better defenders this weekend, so.
Of course, Alex Young out there. He's been one of their deepest throwing threats. He'll do the pulling duties.
And with Haynes and Davies on for WA, I wouldn't be surprised if this just is a shot that goes early.
Patchke as well.
Patchke, and he's got his backhand available. It just goes short to Warnock. Warnock looking for Davies straight away. Davies gets it upfield, gains a couple of metres. He's got the backhand cocked and loaded. Goes short to Haynes. Handles operating in close space, gaining just 1 or 2 metres every time, but it's enough to chip away at the defence. Squeeze it through to Patchke. Davies goes. Patchke puts it up to him. Great grab by, a great leap by there by Davies. Got a fingernail to it, but couldn't quite reel it in. And good contest there from Tregurtha too to make it difficult as well.
Nice defence, forcing him to throw a lot of really tightly contested passes into small spaces. And in the end, that frustration led to maybe not the best deep shot option. And ACT get the disc. Young.
Great forehand gainer to Wigney. Wigney inboard to Delbo. Delbo to Waters. Waters sends it up. And that's Middleton all on his own. For his first goal of the game.
And that's another break for the ACT. That's 2 on the trot.
Yep.
For them. Take it to 7-6. They take their lead back that they had early in this match. We'll see whether they can stay on this defensive role and take half with another break.
In the last couple of points, they've really actually pulled their stack a lot closer to the disc, and it allows that initial deep shot to go up, but then come under for just those handy, just 30, 40 metre gaining passes, and have that free shot at the end zone. So Darwin there trying to chase him down, but Middleton had way too much separation for even the best defenders to chase down. So timeout called by, well, in Western Australia they called that one, having given up 2 defensive conversions in a row.
Yeah, ACT putting 3 on the board quickly. They were 6-4 down and they're now 7-6 up with an offensive hold and 2 defensive breaks.
Yep.
Game suddenly looks very different from a West Australian perspective. They'll want to recalibrate, take a breath, get back to what they were doing earlier in this match. Yep. ACT having found a bit of a recipe for success, as you say, looking to take those mid-range hucks, not necessarily trying to stand and deliver from end zone line to end zone line.
Yep.
But getting some of those mid-range gainers, setting up a nice shot into the end zone as we saw there.
For those not as familiar with our viewers not as familiar with Ultimate, neither team really has an advantage at the moment, despite ACT having 1-goal lead because WA will start this point on offense. And if we assume that there's no turnovers in the next couple of points, it will mean that WA will hold to make it 7-all. ACT will score to take half, but then WA will start on offense after half time, regardless of the outcome of the previous point. And if they hold that, it's back to 8-all. So, despite the 1-goal lead to ACT, there's no strong advantage as yet.
No, plenty of work to be done by both teams if they want to lock this one up and have any kind of confidence about the result in this match. It looks like it's going to go the full distance. Neither team able to generate any kind of scoreboard separation.
Yeah, this is going to be a very crucial point. If ACT can rattle off a third defensive conversion in a row, that means they will take half, still maintain a 1-point lead after half, but most importantly, have the momentum. Have the momentum and energy, and it puts WA on the back foot, with WA having to chase down a lead, which can change your throw selection as a handler as you start to look, okay, we need to get these goals. Your offense starts getting a bit urgent.
And that momentum you talk about is crucial at every level of the game, but especially so in this youth age bracket where maybe a few less veteran experienced heads out there mean that they ride the highs and lows of the game, and that's reflected in their play.
WA again just taking those short shots. Honey, he's got a straight up force on Davies here. Forcing Davies to only throw shorter throws. Foggin. Davies spins the tyres a bit, can't get open, but that leaves Lambman to get a free shot. Back to Foggin. Very crowded around the desk. Not many options available for Foggin. He has to go over the top, but straight into the waiting hands of Middleton. Great defence there by ACT to force that.
I'm sure the WA coaches will be telling their team to clear up their offence in that situation. Just 2 or 3 too many cutters in the lane at once.
Middleton with a good opening move. Taking his time, eventually goes back to Honey. Puts them right back in their own goal line. 63 from goal. Gregory. Out to Sadiq. There we go. They're moving back to centre field. Got this angle of attack. Young. Huge layout bid there by Jacobs. But fumbles it on the landing. And they'll be West Australia's second possession at this point. Big forehand shot goes up the line to Foggin. Foggin all on his own. About 10 metres from goal. Plenty of options coming up. Big goes up and another block by Gregory, I think. That was that time getting up.
He did well. Had plenty of distance to cover before that throw was made. But he's quick and quite explosive as an athlete against that block.
Yeah, the ACT defence, they've found their next gear. They've found a new level of intensity, and not many answers for ACT at the moment. Honey rushed that throw then, looking for a wide open Middleton. He was a bit complacent about that completion, so Davies will get another shot. Goes up the line to Foggin, plenty of traffic. Sadiq goes up, and Foggin reels it in. Ethan Foggin, 4th goal of the game.
He's been huge for WA, and ACT haven't really found an answer for him, both deep, and he's provided crucial unders as a pressure release valve when they've needed it.
Yeah, he's definitely been the workhorse of this offense, covering a lot of territory, both deep and under. See, the shot went up pretty high. There was going to be numbers underneath it. Sadiq went early to, well, he had to go early. There was 2 or 3 WA cutters behind him, and he couldn't afford to back into that pack.
But it sailed it too far out of reach. It was a nice throw from Tyson Davies. He showed his class as a thrower, both going long and also in that mid-range, plenty of control and touch.
So with that goal, WA have relieved quite a bit of pressure. It's now 7-all. ACT to receive this disc, but even if ACT scored, WA will receive after the half break, regardless of the outcome of this point. So this is a chance for WA to get a 2-point buffer coming out of half. If they can get a defensive conversion on this point, and start on offense after half. That could be a chance to build a lead. And we're 43 minutes in. Tack on 5 minutes to that game clock for the halftime break, and we're getting down to just over half an hour of second half play. So as it stands, we're in for a very close finish here for the bronze medal.
Very similar line for ACT at this point to the one before. A lot of their stars staying on.
Sengo and Young, a bit of back and forth to gain a few metres. And Young, nice floaty backhand up to Jacobs. Jacobs with a big grab over the Armstrong there. Takes his time. Centre field, plenty of options. And into Middleton. For Middleton's second goal, and that's Jacobs' third assist this game.
It's a baby. It's a baby frisbee.
The team celebrations have been a highlight of this weekend.
They have been. The challenge was put out at the start of the weekend for the teams to do the best celebrations that they could, and ACT obliged that, birthing themselves a disc.
So ACT take the 8th goal to send us into the halftime break. We're going to take a short break. We'll be back with you for what looks to be a very exciting second half.
Is a burning thing, and it makes a fiery ring. Bound by wild desire, I fell into a ring of fire, 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 fire.
Welcome back to the second half of the Australian Youth Ultimate Championships bronze medal match in the boys division. We've got ACT and WA duking it out. WA got out to an early 6-4 lead, but ACT responded well, going on a bit of a run to bring it back and eventually take half 8-7. These two teams met each other in pool play a couple of days ago, and in that match, WA had a storming second half, and we'll see whether the same happens here or whether ACT can keep their foot on the gas the whole game long.
Simon Tolbert here with Max Henstrom, taking you through this game. So ACT to start this half on defence. That's Wes Honey to pull. Big high floaty pull. That will land inbounds and enough time for defence to set up early. Davies and Paschke working together, but Davies sends the big shot up, looking for Crooks, their captain, but Sadiq just got up from behind and
I will admit, it looked like Sadiq planted his left hand on Crooks' shoulder as he went up over him.
Yeah, but it was always going to win the aerial contest, I think, so. Sends it straight away, Delbo. Delbo sends it back infield, off fingers. Great recovery there by Middleton. Sends it back in out to Jugurtha. Jugurtha, crossfield forehand to Gregory. With a nice, easy goal.
Delbo makes sure of that one with the little flip. Some lovely offense from ACT. Incisive forehand from Jugurtha. Crossfield opening up that angle. Early on in this game, they were playing down a narrow channel down one sideline. We've seen them find a bit more reliable success once they've used the full width of the field, changed the angle of attack, got that defence out of position. Yeah,
a bit more. As we see again, that effort that by Middleton was keeping that disc alive. And immediately just look to that far side of the field where there was plenty of space in Jugurtha. Great crossfield shot to, that was Middleton there again.
Middleton doing a lot of work for the ACT team downfield. Very athletic young man. Great heads-up play from him there.
But it seems like they talked about that at half-time as once they get to the end zone, not being afraid to move the disc laterally. Too many times you see players get impatient right towards the goal and think, well, this next zone's got to be a goal, we're so close, but just having the patience to move it laterally, keep the defence moving, and open up more space to throw into. SCT strike first, the second half with a defensive conversion. Take a 2-goal lead.
The mental strength and resilience of the WA boys are going to be tested here. Coming out of half and being broken immediately is a challenge for anyone.
Yeah.
See how they respond.
There hasn't been more than a 2-goal lead at any point in this game. We're closing up on 52 minutes of game time. There's still a lot of time for either team to make a good run of it. Young with the pull, keeps it low and flat. Paschke caught that to get restarted immediately. Gained some yards, going one back and forth with Davies. They move it to centre field. Paschke wants that backhand. No one moving to that side. Goes in short to Sadava. Back to Davies. Having to get low to catch it. Davies with the point. Up this goes. Big shot taken to Summers.
Just nails him on the chest from 40 yards.
That's Davies' third assist of the game.
He's a big thrower, that guy. He's got a bit of a cannon on him. And he uses it to great effect there.
It's something I've noticed watching games across the weekend, that if a thrower points, it is almost certainly going to be a big throw.
Seen a fair bit of the point and shoot.
The stand and deliver. Guess where this is going?
Right there, and we see it again.
So, hey, it's great direction. Obviously, Davies had spotted the space that Summers hadn't, so took that direction and was on his own. It was a good bid there by Blackburn. to make a contest of it, but
Not able to make up the distance.
yeah.
Paschke and Davies doing a good job at the back, keeping that disc alive before the shot opened up. Paschke, one of the returning players on this team, was unable to prepare with the team. He lives 4 hours outside of Perth in Geraldton, and therefore this week and on Saturday morning was his first chance to play Ultimate with these lads as a single unit. And despite that, he's played an important role for them.
It's always a challenge with representative teams is that you can't always get everyone in the same place at once. That's yep, okay.
Wow, that's a drop pull.
That
if you're
should be a
joining us on
turnover.
the stream.
Jacobs to start. We're the only two people to notice that, Max.
I think we might have been. I'm not sure if anyone realised, but
Gregory.
the disc should currently be in WA's hands, about 10 metres out from their attacking end zone. But karma, the disc doesn't lie, and now WA have it.
Disc is thrown in the back of the defender, and that was Foggin that came in to meet it, and hadn't quite landed in bounds, and I think he gave that off to his brother, Tyler Foggin, for the goal.
We'll see if we can get a replay of that pull reception, because
Yeah.
I just want to be sure that I saw what I thought I saw.
Yeah, the rule, our cameraman turning back to us and saying, yep, we agree. So the rule is as the pull comes in, it if you touch it and it hits the ground, that's an instant turnover. As we look in, and
Does Wes Honey touch this disc before it hits the ground?
yep, 100%.
Absolutely,
Yep.
100%. A good 4 or 5 inches off the ground. He just kicks it.
No one said a thing, but eventually the disc got thrown into the back of a WA defender, and WA ended up with the disc and the goal anyway to bring it back to 9-all. Crucial hold there to.
No, that's a
level.
defensive conversion for them.
Yep.
In fact,
Oh, was it? It is too.
they
Yeah.
managed to get that one in, which is nicely done to bring it back to 9s. A lot of these players required to be advanced rules accredited for this tournament. Clearly the rule regarding pull receptions maybe slipped through the cracks just a touch.
And just the game advisors, I think, did notice too. I saw them looking at each other, but obviously they can't make calls. They can only guide the players on through the conversation, making the pulls themselves. They cannot put their hand up and say, hey, guys. And even the coaches, it's up to the players entirely to enforce the rules.
That's right. The game advisors can mirror calls with their hand signals or provide clarification on what the rule is,
Yep.
but it's entirely the player's responsibility. It's one of the great things to see in a sport like this. Players this young, competing at a national level, having to also have the maturity to have reasonable conversations and officiate their own matches.
Jacobs playing behind the disc this time. Tregurtha. Yeah, so they got their stack nice and close to the disc. Tregurtha and Sanger work together. Tregurtha wants something in the middle of the field. Not much movement happening there though. Puts it over the top to Jacobs. Jacobs stands back, jacks it into the lap of Sangar, but Crooks getting enough to it. I think Sangar was anticipating Crooks getting a touch on it, but he didn't, and it came firing into his lap, and he wasn't prepared for that one. So Davies to restart, about 50 from goal, gets a break out to Haynes. Haynes unmarked for a moment. He looked upfield. They're giving Haynes his backhand, so he goes short. A great run-through block there by Middleton.
Middleton does well, and Jacobs immediately looks to respond. Too far out in front, though.
Yep. Jacobs there shooting at one corner of the end zone, which meant that it was always moving away from Gregory. The move from Gregory was good, just cutting directly up the middle of the field, just saying, just float it up to me anywhere, but
A little too much outside-in edge on that throw. Would have loved to see a bit of inside out and a bit of touch. Would have sat nicely for his receiver.
or even shooting at the far side of the field, it would have been. I think Gregory had the advantage no matter where, the position advantage no matter where it went. Davies. Midfielder Haynes. Haynes floats it up. Plenty of numbers under it. And Sengar swats that one away. Tregurtha with a quick restart. He's got Young all by his own in the middle of the field. Finally spots him up. 20 from goal. Centre field. The place you want to be. But the stack's right deep in the end zone. Not much happening inboard. Under, but Waters sends a bullet straight to the end zone, but Davies is there waiting for it. Restarts defense quickly.
What a layout block!
Huge layout block by Jacobs.
Just explodes.
That was amazing. That came from nowhere.
Like a volcano.
And throws the bullet into the end zone, into the hands of Gregory for... Middleton there with the goal. Middleton's third goal of the game and Jacobs' fourth assist.
Those two clearly doing a lot of work for ACT. And Jacobs, an absolutely volcanic layout. Not something you see every day from him.
I think most of the game he would have been sitting there watching. He knew that Davies was going to go up the line, so sat just behind him and then bang, those 2 steps, went for it.
You're right. I think he read that. He saw it coming and even maybe baited it a little bit, recognising that he had Davies for pace.
Yep.
And was just going to tempt them into throwing it and then shut down that distance, and he does well.
Quite a common tactic you see at the senior level of competition is that the defender will just trail the cutter behind. They'll just sort of stay 2 or 3 steps behind, knowing they've got more pace, and then as soon as the throw gets wound up, they just explode off 2 or 3 steps, and all of a sudden the option that the thrower thought they saw is no longer there.
And Jacobs will stay on the field for the next point. They clearly recognise that he's in the zone and he can just generate blocks like few others on this field right now.
And 10-9 to ACT. No team, I feel, has the momentum at the moment, Max.
No, it's very back and forth.
Yeah, it's still balanced.
Every time it feels like one team gets a bit of a run, then the other team will respond, put a couple back on them.
Both points over very quickly to get 19 points inside the hour. That's almost as close as you can get to a shootout. Davies starting off with Summers. Summers usually playing upfield, playing behind the disc this time. Puts it out in front of Davies, but just too far.
Tregurtha does a good job marking Davies there, making him work really hard.
Yep.
Not letting him get any kind of separation.
Yeah, making him have to cut away from the disc, which is where he's probably the least comfortable on the field. So Sadiq to restart. Looking for just a clean option, not just willing to take 50-50, and there he goes. He finds Gregory. Gregory inside to Tregurtha. Tregurtha having to reach for it. Davies, centre field, sends the big backhand floater up. Numbers under this one. I think this is going to drift out of bounds. Armstrong attempting the greatest, but I think his first, second, third, fourth, and fifth contact might have been already out of bounds before.
Points for trying, but you're right, it wasn't ever going to come off.
Tell you what, made it look good though. And Honey's starting with the disc about a metre in from the sideline, which again shouldn't be happening. But Sadiq, right on the sideline now, looks back at his dome. He hasn't got many options. This is great defence by WA. The numbers underneath for Gregory and both Gregory and Jacobs went to ground to save that disc, but
Gregory clutching at his calf, perhaps, leg, knee. Looks unhappy. He's clearly in a bit of pain, and he'll come off. It was a great bid by him.
Yep. Did well to keep the disc alive. I think just looks like I think he copped Jacobs' head right in his shin.
Both of them diving at the disc, doing everything they can to keep possession alive for their team, and he's replaced by Waters, who won't waste any time, shoots to the end zone.
Brilliant awareness there by McKinnon. Just to plant himself just inside the end zone, made sure of his feet, looked up, took it in. So McKinnon's third goal for the game. Been a bit of a quiet achiever, this one. He just seems to sort of sneak on and get his name on the score sheet. But yeah, beautiful forehand. Shooting a very narrow target, but yeah, McKinnon did very well. Had defenders bearing down on him.
It's a nice shot from Waters as well, and I think that's probably one of the big key differences between these two teams. WA very reliant on one or two big throwers, in particular Davies.
Yep.
Whereas ACT maybe have a touch more depth in that throwing department, able to share those duties between Young, Waters. We've seen Jacobs come behind the disc a few times, and a number of others step up when needed. Yeah,
Tregurtha, Sadiq. So they've got players that don't necessarily have that, 50 to 55 metre range on them, but they've got, 30 to 35 metre range, and that can be enough. They just work together to get this to centre field, and then once they're more than halfway, it just seems that everyone's got a green light to take that shot. Once they're that close, once they're a touch closer to the end zone. So another defensive conversion from ACT gives them a 2-goal lead.
And late in the game, suddenly, that's a bit of a deficit for WA to overcome. At 11-9, game to 15, they're rapidly closing in on that points cap.
Yep. Tregurtha and Jacob seeing a lot of game time this game. I can only think of maybe, and Sangar as well, I can only think of maybe 2 or 3 points that we've seen them on the sideline. So, like you said, the depth of their throwing talent is there, but they're sticking with the same cutters and receivers. Jacobs with the pull, that'll sail out of bounds. That'll give WA the disc. At centre field, about 45 from goal.
Tregurtha taking some of their key handler defensive matchups over and over again. I know the ACT coach is very happy with how he's performing in that handler defense role. You see here, he gets the crucial Tyson Davies matchup there. Key thrower. We'll see whether he can contain him a little bit, make him have to rethink some of his options.
And he is doing a lot of containing him. He's forcing him, once he's got rid of the disc, to cut further upfield, so get him away from the disc. Good break throw there.
And he has a sniff on that one.
A bullet of a forehand to Haynes.
Well in front of the outstretched Jacobs.
Jacobs there.
I think I'd love to see a little bit of straight up maybe on Davies.
Yep.
He's just such a throwing threat. We know that he's got backhands and forehands. Anything you can do to force him to throw wide, take away that deep shot to the end zone, will benefit them greatly.
Good by Crooks. Set him up well, and Tregurtha nearly getting a hand on that, but he had to keep that low and direct. Obviously, Jacobs having a fairly substantial height advantage on Haynes, but so if that throw had hung in the air for even a quarter of a second any longer, that would have belonged to Jacobs, but kept it direct, and Haynes not phased at all by that pressure put on him.
We see here on the camera Jonathan Warren White, one of the other commentators this weekend. He's been doing a great job in the booth. Hope you've been tuning in for some of the matches which he's had the call for. We've been streaming all weekend long, and if you do want, go back and watch some of our earlier matches. There are some absolute stormers of games earlier this weekend.
Yeah, there's been fantastic action all weekend. It's a bit scary as an older player, Max, sort of seeing the young talent coming up and how good they are at this age.
Oh, absolutely. I think about even youth nationals just a few years ago and the difference between that and this.
Yeah.
I remember my first one of these, half the team could barely throw a forehand, and you look at them now and Tyson Davies is throwing them 55 metres on a dime.
I think I've retired at the right time, Max.
Timed it perfectly.
Before I get shown up by anyone. So what a pull. Look at that. Where's that been all day?
Exactly what I'm talking about. Full field, lands halfway into
That's
the
even
end
their
zone.
end zone. Plenty of hang time. The defenders are getting there early. ACT on the back foot here. This is great pressure. This is fantastic rundown, and yeah, that is a well-deserved turnover. That was a perfect pull, and it was a great chase down by the 2 defenders there to put that pressure on early, put that pressure on the first throw. ACT, the cutters way too deep there. Haynes with the restart on the sideline, 15 from goal.
Waters with
Scott
a
Oz in
round
the end zone,
mark.
puts it up, over, putting in numbers underneath it. ACT get two lots of hands to that one to knock it down.
Haynes never had eyes for anything else but the end zone there.
Just wanted to capitalise on that straight away to get themselves a defensive conversion back to level up the game. But again, they'll have a second shot at it. This time, ACT get to compose themselves a bit. Sadiq with the disc. Trigotha all on his own. To Honey. Honey winds that backhand up. Instead goes up the line.
Waters.
Waters,
Drop.
yeah, worried about where he was in relation to the line. Tried to pull up early to stop being out of bounds. Haynes with the restart. He's got a free throw in the middle. Summers there. He goes up the line. Sadiq gets fingertips to it, but it still falls in the lap of Foggin. Foggin back to the middle to Summers. Summers right on the doorstep. Options either side. A lot of movement happening. All very close to this. Sends it out wide to Crooks.
WA right the ship.
Crooks with his second goal of the game. And that was crucially, there was a lot happening in short there, Max, but good by Summers to recognise that and go, right, I'm not going to look at anything in front of me. Who's out to the side?
Yeah, it got very chaotic in front. Felt like every cutter on the field felt like they were the ones who had the job of trying to catch that goal. Very chaotic in the end zone. Summers showing a lot of composure and maturity to ignore the chaos in front of him, look wide, and pick out the open man.
11 all. We're coming up on 70 minutes gone. We could still get to 15.
We have seen a couple of very quick 2, 3, 4 pass offensive points. A few more of those will get us close, but
We're averaging a fraction under 3 minutes per point, which is quick. At
very
this
quick.
level, you typically don't see that much time per point until you get to the senior Division 1 level. So, and of course, when you subtract out the time that's actually spent between the points, so the official ruling is the next point starts as soon as the previous goal is caught. Take out the time for line calling, you're getting to under 2 minutes per point, which is lightning pace for a game.
the still conditions and the big throwers on both of these teams playing a big part of that.
Yep. Davies, excellent pull, sends them back, and again a great chase down, putting pressure on that first and second pass. Cuts coming one at a time for ACT. Trigotha with the disc, looks to his reset to Jacobs. Jacobs up the line. He's got a free shot, takes the backhand. And Sangar underneath it, takes the clean catch.
Spins around, does a full 360 before taking that one down.
Sangar with his second goal for the day. Jacobs with his 5th assist.
Nicely done by Jacobs, doing a lot of work behind the disc. And Sanger spins around, finds the disc above him, bit of a 360 no-scope, some may say. Comes down with the frisbee.
He had Armstrong coming in hot too.
Cool under pressure.
Yeah, did well to hold his composure. And
So we have another look at that backhand. That comes out beautifully. Plenty of touch.
I say it was Patchy coming in.
And Sanger, 2 hands to it. Goes up strong, comes down with a disc. Captain of this team, stepping up when they need him most.
So ACT, they hold the advantage at the moment in that if we see no other turnovers or change the possession in this game, ACT will just march it on through to 15-14. So WA need at least one defensive conversion to arrest that advantage.
They do, and they've got a similar line out there. Sanger and Jacobs stay on the field, as does Trigotha. Clearly shortening up their lines as they recognise the importance of the next few points in determining the outcome of this match.
Yeah, one more conversion for ACT, I'll be ready to call it. But if WA hold this point, score this over. Summers to Davies, back to Summers again. They just like to go back and forth, gain those quick yards before the defence set. Looks like it's a zone-ish kind of look here. It's a
Bit of a containment look.
Yeah.
Forcing lots of sideways and backwards passes.
To Haynes.
Trying to contain the deep shot. Good response to WA's natural style of play, but
Yep.
you can't give Davies that much time and space.
Davis to Summers. To Cooper. Good, plenty of options. Tries to squeeze one into the corner, but Jacobs just goes, no, not today. That's 11 times ACT have got clean blocks on WA throws, so just shows the level they've hit with their defence. Jacobs, he's got a long cutter going early, but opts to go under, but Gregory loses his footing, Middleton loses his footing, but Young gets it, sends it up over the top. Looking for Wigney, who was all on his own out the back. So I think there was a bit of they were hurrying the throw. Just excited to see one of their tall guys.
Didn't come out nicely for Young. Turned over lots outside in, bladed into the turf.
ACT will reset their zone look here. WA, they haven't adjusted their O setup at all. Here we go, they're now spread out wide.
ACT playing a 3-2-1-1. Well, look at that. 3 across the front, forcing the disc into the centre. 2 behind, and then a short deep and a deep beyond that.
Patsky with the hammer, but Jacobs read that right out of the hand and says, thank you, I'll take that. Receiving long throws of both teams is Jacobs. Young, cleaner backhand there this time. Finding Wigney. Wigney fakes a forehand, goes backhand into the lap of Middleton. Middleton's 4th goal.
And that's another break for ACT. That takes it to 13-11 with 5 minutes to go. They're in the driver's seat of this one.
Yep. Yeah, look, never say never, but it's unlikely that WA can come back from here. They would need to actually, they hold this goal, then find another defensive conversion, and it'll probably take us through the time cap. So, yeah, it's not...
No, many crazier things have happened than this, especially this weekend. We've seen lots of 4, 5, even 6-point runs. So, still certainly within striking distance, especially for a team that can punch in quick ones as fast as this WA outfit. We've seen them play 2-3 pass offense. A couple of those following some defensive turns, and they will be right back in this.
Yep.
What would you be doing as a WA coach in this situation, recognising you're 2 down with just a few minutes left on the clock?
I probably would have told them a couple of points ago not to worry about the scoreboard and just focus on holding every offensive goal. Because right now, the most important thing they need to do is just hold this goal to get the margin back to 1, because it'll take us to time cap. Will set us a new points cap. So they'd want to get it not quickly. I wouldn't tell them to rush this goal in. Well, we've got 3 and a bit minutes to go. So, yeah, get this goal in. Force time cap to go during the next point, because if you can get that conversion in that next point, you're basically forcing sudden death. Foggin and Patchke working behind it is this time. But another block by ACT, 13th block of the game for that team.
Able to generate turns like few other teams have been able to. It's very impressive.
Honey with the disc. We're very composed behind the disc for them today, Honey. Young looking upfield, wants to put it, sends it up high, looking for Gregory.
That's Middleton out the back.
Middleton, sorry.
And he reads it better than anyone else and ends up catching it on his chest for a goal. And ACT setting up some kind of celebration.
Oh, I've seen this one. This is a good one.
Oh, this is a good one. I know what's coming. It's the tandem bike. Wow, we've seen the single bike before. I don't know if I've ever seen a tandem. But hey, when you're 14-11 up in a bronze medal match, that deserves something special.
Yeah. I think that one might have been the nail in the coffin. The 14-11. So we will go to 15 regardless of what happens at the 80-minute mark.
ACT looking to bring home a bronze medal and also the award for the best goal celebration. As we have a look again at Young's forehand, weighted to perfection into the arms of Middleton, who makes short work of the catch.
Middleton, 5 goals today.
He's a bit of a quiet achiever for him.
Yep.
Doesn't have maybe those highlight moments that someone like Isaac Jacobs does, but doing a mountain of work on the receiving end.
Yep.
And he's taken some tough defensive matchups when needed of him as well. And he'll stay on the field for what could well be their final point of the 2018 Australian Youth Ultimate Championships.
It's not over. WA, the game will not finish until the 15th goal is scored. So they're not going to run out of time here. They're still in this game. But they need to get 4 goals to ACT's 1. So not impossible, but not likely. Pashke, sorry.
Very deep stack from WA.
Yep.
Give go to Pashke.
The Danforth defenders are sort of daring them to take that shot. Davies working well, goes crossfield, looking for...
Oh, and that's a hell of a grab by Summers. Diving forward. And they'll have a bit of a discussion about whether he managed to dig his fingers underneath it before it hit the ground. The pass from Davies too low.
Very low. It looks good from here, but we're about 40 metres away from the action. So let's have a look at the replay.
Summers having to dive forward.
Yeah, I reckon that's good.
That's difficult to say. It's very, very close.
Yep.
But I do think he might have snuck his fingers under that back edge.
The game advisors Sam Tonkin and Ferdy Ramadan getting in to help facilitate the conversation. Despite this game being filmed, the players aren't really allowed to just call for the replay. We've got the advantage of being able to slow it down and go close up, but they have to just call it as it happened live.
It's not an easy task.
No.
Obviously, you're looking at all sorts of things on the field as a player, not just what's happening with the disc at any single moment.
Yep. So you have another look there. Yeah. I reckon it looks good.
So do I, and I think the players agree with us, and they'll let that one stand.
So the goal stands, and that's Davies' 5th assist for the game. Summers' 2nd goal.
And that takes it to 14-12 as we hear the hooter go of time cap. But as we say, it'll be game to 15 regardless at this point.
Yep.
ACT will have to go the full distance if they want to come away with a medal. Twice in a row they've been the bridesmaids, coming 4th in 2017 and in 2016. See whether they can do one better this year. Led by their experienced coaches who both pulled on the jerseys before at this tournament. And some of them experienced returners, Isaac Jacobs, of course. Connor Waters coming back for his 3rd time at this tournament. A number of others looking for redemption from last year's tough loss in the bronze medal match.
Got a number of 17-year-olds on this team as well, so could be their last campaign. So it'd be good to close it out. Not necessarily just for the bronze medal, but to close it out with a win. It's always great. It's always good to go home on a winning feeling, winning your last game of the tournament. I mean, if you can't be winning the final, that's probably the next best thing.
Yeah, many people often talk about bronze feeling better than silver because you get to finish on a high. We'll see if ACT can do that or whether WA will play spoiler and ruin the fun for them. The whistles from the game advisors telling them that they need to send the pool.
Davies with the pool. WA needing 3 defensive conversions in a row to steal this game from ACT. ACT just need to hold this offense. Waters. Waters and Chugurtha playing behind this. Waters, great backhand shot out to Delbo. Gets it back. Shot's going up. Looking for McKinnon. They've done it. ACT.
A great shot from Connor Waters to down the field on the far side. A beautiful forehand to seal the game and take the victory for ACT. They are your bronze medalists here at the Australian Youth Ultimate Championships. End up taking it by 3, 15-12 over Western Australia. They put up a great fight, pushing them the whole way. It was never more than a 2 or 3 point lead at any stage. WA, in fact, led 6-4 early in the match.
Yep. Yeah, both teams very evenly matched, both on offense and defense. I think that I think that just the depth of the ACT squad won out in the end, able to run through more players and took control of the game in that last 20 minutes.
That's right. The depth of athleticism and throwing ability proved decisive in the end. We were lucky enough to get to watch the whole thing, as were you joining us on the Ultimate Australia YouTube channel. Don't go anywhere though, we've got a number more of great games to come. First, the women's final, a rematch of last year's between New South Wales and Victoria. New South Wales looking to do the three-peat and take home the four-peat, apologies, looking to take home gold once more. And then the boys' final will follow that. So don't go anywhere, and thanks for joining us. I've been Max Stenstrom. I've been joined in the booth by Simon Talbot. Thanks for joining us.
Alti.tv